The El Reno tornado didn't just break records. It broke the way we think about tornadoes. It was rain-wrapped. It changed direction. It grew faster than radar could track. It killed the best storm chasers in the world. Not through recklessness, but unpredictability. The largest tornado ever recorded didn't follow the rules. It didn't move in a straight line. It didn't look like a funnel. It didn't spare the experts. On May 31st, 2013, a tornado formed near El Reno, Oklahoma. By the time it reached its peak, it was 2.6 miles wide, wider than Manhattan. But that wasn't what made it deadly. What made it deadly was that it changed direction. Suddenly, violently, unpredictably. The world's top storm chasers were watching it. They had radar, drones, GPS, escape plans. But the tornado grew faster than they could track. Then it turned, not away, toward them. Vehicles were flipped. Equipment vaporized. Even veteran chasers, scientists who had studied storms for decades, were overtaken. 3 of them didn't survive. It was the first time a tornado had ever killed professional researchers on the job. And the strangest part? It wasn't even classified as an EF5 at first, because no one could see what it really was. Rain-wrapped, shape-shifting, a monster hiding in plain sight. This is the story of the tornado that defied logic, rewrote the rules, and turned the hunters into the hunted. The skies over Oklahoma are clear. Too clear. The NOAA forecasts show instability, but no consensus. Some models predict scattered storms. Others? Just wind. It's confusing. And to experienced chasers, that's when things get dangerous. Because uncertainty means something is brewing. Tim Samaras is in town, a legend in the storm-chasing world. Engineer, researcher, chaser of 30 years. He's never lost a vehicle, never gotten too close. Always measured, always precise. He looks at the data and frowns. Something doesn't add up. Temperatures are rising, dew points are high, but the atmosphere isn't reacting. It's a loaded gun, safety off, finger on the trigger. He marks El Reno as a maybe. Other chasers do the same. Nothing screams outbreak, but something feels off. Locals go about their business. Kids play outside. Gas stations are full. It's the end of May, tornado season, but no one's panicking. And that's the trap. When you've lived through dozens of warnings, you start tuning them out. But above them, high in the troposphere, a supercell is starting to form. Not fast, not loud, but massive, invisible to the eye, but ready to drop something history has never seen. Radar begins lighting up west of El Reno. Nothing alarming yet, just a rotating thunderstorm. But to seasoned chasers, something looks wrong. It's spinning too cleanly. No rain shaft, no hail core, just a dense, tight radar signature, like a drill boring into the sky. By 3:30 p.m., the first tornado warning is issued. It hasn't touched down yet, but the velocity couplet is tightening. Meteorologists call it a high-precipitation supercell, HP for short. That means it's not just a twister. It's a tornado wrapped in rain. From the ground, it's almost invisible. A wall of gray, some wind. That's it. You don't see the funnel. You don't see the danger. But inside that blur, something has begun. The funnel touches down at 6:03 p.m. Weak, thin, rope-like, but in seconds it thickens, then splits, then reforms. It's morphing. Storm chasers rush to triangulate it, but their GPS signals are bouncing. Cell towers jammed, radar delayed. The tornado grows in every direction, north, south, sideways. It doesn't move like a finger. It moves like a wave. Within minutes, it's a wedge, then a barrel. Then it begins rotating around its own orbit. Not just spinning, orbiting itself. Nobody's seen this before. Nobody knows what it means. But one thing is certain, it's not just growing, it's learning. The tornado is massive now, nearly 2 miles wide. But what happens next isn't about size. It's about behavior. Tornadoes usually move northeast. They follow the jet stream. They behave like rivers. Predictable, trackable. Escape routes are planned around that rule. But the El Reno tornado doesn't care about rules. It starts to slow down. Then it turns south, across roads, across fields, across every model's prediction. Storm chasers watching from the east think they're safe. They've positioned themselves parallel, expecting it to veer away. But it doesn't veer. It pivots, and now it's coming straight at them. Vehicles scramble, engines scream, GPS screens spin. There's no warning, no radio call, no meteorologist yelling turn around. Only instinct, and motion, and dread. Wind speed spike, debris lift for miles away, fence posts, animals' car parts. Some of it falls before the storm arrives. Other pieces come later, sideways. The road network turns against them. One-lane highways, ditches on either side, and traffic. Dozens of cars, vans, media trucks. Everyone is trying to escape at the same time. Then the tornado accelerates. Not gradually, instantly. It doubles in speed in seconds. A few cars turn north. Some make it. Some vanish. Others never get the chance. Chasers shout into radios. It's moving east. It's speeding up. Get out of there. But for some, the call comes too late. Because this wasn't just a tornado. It was a trap, and it had just sprung shut. The tornado is now over 2 miles wide. Rain-wrapped, obscured. You can't see it until it's on top of you. But dozens of people are heading toward it. Not to flee, to study. Because this isn't a normal storm. It's a once-in-a-lifetime research opportunity. Inside the danger zone, hobbyists, media vans, YouTubers, meteorologists. And one team that stands above the rest. Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Young. Veteran chasers. Data specialists. They deploy instruments in a tornado's path to capture pressure drops and wind speeds from the inside. It's dangerous, but until now, never fatal. Tim knows they're close. Too close. He radios. We're repositioning. It's changing fast, but the roads are jammed. Rain blurs the windshield. GPS lags, and the tornado is now shifting east. In just 60 seconds, its wind field expands dramatically. From 2 miles wide to 2.6. It's now the widest tornado ever recorded. The Samaras vehicle is caught in the expansion zone. They try to turn north, but they're blocked. Another car. A ditch. Too late. Winds exceed 295 kilometers per hour. Their armored SUV is lifted, flipped, and thrown over a mile. Found later in pieces, frame crushed, camera shattered. Tim, Paul, and Carl are killed instantly. The storm chaser community is stunned. If they weren't safe, who is? TV crews and amateurs are caught fleeing in all directions. Some abandon gear. Others drive into ditches. One vehicle barely outruns the core winds at 90 miles per hour. There is no safe zone, no playbook, just a wall of chaos wrapped in rain. And in the middle of it, the tornado keeps spinning, unbothered, unchallenged, growing still. The tornado has now reached its peak size, 2.6 miles wide. It doesn't look like a tornado. It looks like the atmosphere itself has collapsed onto the earth. There's no visible funnel, no classic cone shape, just a churning wall of darkness, dust, rain, mud, trees, metal, cows, fences, power poles. And the winds? They're spinning at 295 kilometers per hour, but not just in circles. The entire tornado is rotating, translating, orbiting itself. It's no longer a weather event. It's a fluid structure. Radar teams can't believe what they're seeing. The Doppler data shows multiple vortices, smaller tornadoes rotating inside the main one. Some move clockwise, others spin the opposite way, each one capable of lifting cars, stripping pavement, ripping asphalt off highways. At ground level, visibility is near zero. Chasers call it the brown ocean. The storm is so wide and rain-wrapped, no one can tell where it begins or ends. A farmer standing miles away reports hail, then finds sheet metal embedded in his barn. Someone in Union City hears a waterfall and doesn't realize they're hearing a tornado breathing. Over El Reno's outer roads, drivers stop in confusion. It's not just the size, it's the speed. The tornado accelerates again to nearly 60 miles per hour, faster than most people can drive in rain. Some vehicles turn west, trying to outrun the flank. Others try to shelter in ditches, a death sentence in a storm like this. One family takes shelter under a highway overpass. They survive barely, and then the core tightens. The storm begins to contract, but instead of calming down, it starts spinning faster, like a skater pulling in their arms. The final wind field is violent enough to strip bark from trees, drive pebbles through windshields, and lift 10-ton equipment trailers. It is pure aerodynamic chaos. And yet, within minutes, it's gone. Not faded, not lifted, just vanished. 15 minutes after it began, the most massive tornado in history simply vanishes. There's no clear dissipation, no weakening radar signature. One scan, it's there, massive, violent. The next, it's gone. Chasers keep driving, waiting to catch up to it. But there's nothing to find, only dust, bent trees, crushed vehicles. One by one, survivors emerge. A media van limps out of a flooded ditch. A family walks along the shoulder, covered in mud but alive. People cry, some vomit, some just sit and stare. Tim Samaras' vehicle doesn't check in. Chasers try radio, then cell, then social. Silence. A rescue team locates the wreckage 2 hours later. The frame is unrecognizable, the equipment shattered. But near the debris, they find a small steel cylinder. It's one of Tim's probes, crushed but intact. Inside, the final seconds of data, pressure, wind speed, acceleration. His life's work, still recording, even as the storm took his own. In a storm that rewrote every rule. Even silence left a message. It was rain-wrapped. It changed direction. It grew faster than radar could track. It killed the best storm chasers in the world. Not through recklessness, but unpredictability. In the months that followed, everything changed. The National Weather Service began rethinking its classification systems. The enhanced Fujita scale, based on damage, couldn't capture what happened. Wind speeds reached EF5 levels, but the damage path was inconsistent. It forced a new question. How do you rate a storm that doesn't leave a town to destroy? Radar systems were upgraded, chaser protocols rewritten. A new focus was placed on public safety, not footage. Even popular storm chasing shows paused production. And for the first time, the chasing community turned inward. It wasn't just about data anymore. It was about risk, ethics. Why do we do this? And how far is too far? In 2014, a bronze plaque was installed at the National Weather Center. It honors Tim Samaras, Paul Samaras, and Carl Jung, not as thrill seekers, but as scientists, men who chased the unknown and paid the price for knowledge. The Reno tornado didn't destroy a city, but it shook the foundations of storm science. It forced meteorology to evolve and reminded everyone watching that nature doesn't follow scripts. It creates its own, sometimes without warning. Subscribe for more videos and see you the next time.